Earth, in a time before humans and before cringe, this planet was ruled by the dinosaurs until they were evicted by an asteroid, banishing them to the Shadow Realm, never to be seen again, but giving rise to the flesh. Well, I guess dinosaurs are flesh too, but like human flesh came with acne and stuff. And now we humans live here, but who's to say that Universal Landlord might not come knocking again with another asteroid? And by who's to say, I mean, we're all saying it. Everyone knows. Like, I'm sure you've seen the headlines. There is an asteroid heading towards Earth. Right now, it is at a 1.5% chance of hitting. Earlier today, it was at like a 3% chance of hitting. A couple days ago, it was like a 2.5% chance of hitting. All of which are actually really high. Some of the highest recorded probabilities of a huge asteroid hitting this planet in a long, long time. That dirty bastard out there, I've been shaking my fist at it for the last couple hours saying, scram, get out of here. But from what I can tell, it's not working. It is big, but it's not, you know, a planetary killer. The size that, should it actually impact Earth, it would destroy a city. So it's a city killer, which is really big. And that's pretty concerning. So I was watching and researching, trying to figure out, well, are the odds actually as high as that seems to me? Because as a RuneScape player, 3%? Those are good odds, actually. Like, that's pretty fucking solid. So I was curious about these estimates. Now, again, it has gone down. It is no longer 3%. It's dropped to about a 1.5% chance that it impacts in 2032. The only thing that's known for sure is this asteroid does pose a threat of actually impacting, and should it impact, it won't be pretty.
Of the destruction we wrought on each other in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, this is 500 times more powerful than that, just because of the energy of it coming through the atmosphere, causing shock waves, and because of the heating, exploding. So it's like a grenade. A grenade is no bigger than your fist, but it can do damage over a wide area. This is a grenade that's 60 meters across.
This is astronaut Chris Hadfield briefly going over the destructive capabilities of the asteroid, and then it got me wondering, well, if the percentage continues to climb, is there anything we can do about it? Are we just hopeless sitting ducks out here waiting to get fucked? Like, what exactly do we have? Because I recall we have DART, which I remembered successfully did change the trajectory of a space rock. Like, we confirmed that it can be done, but can it be done to something on this scale? Or are we truly just like square one? Now we're going to need to figure out maybe some kind of defensive protocol, like maybe we send me out there with a cartoonishly large tennis racket to bat it away. Like, what do we have? So that led me to a YouTube channel, Scott Manley, who was talking about it.
So the name 2024 YR4, that tells us that, well, it was discovered in 2024. Y means it was discovered in the last 2 weeks of the year, and R4 means that they've discovered about 100 asteroids before that. But, you know, they get numbers and designators towards the end to tell just the order it was discovered in the year.
Yeah, the rock has a name, so you can curse it. It's not Voldemort. Go ahead and say its name. 2024 YR4. I highly recommend watching Scott's full video on this because he gives great coverage and goes over like exactly how they even get to these numbers, which I found very interesting. So he was talking about the observation as they were following this asteroid and looking at the orbits. He also does mention that there's going to be another encounter in 2028, but that one will definitely miss. This is something they can say with certainty. So 2032 is the main impact that the story is breaking on because as it climbed over 1% last month, it is increased even more as the uncertainty starts to get less and less uncertain.
I expect that what's going to happen is that we're going to see that we've seen basically the probability slowly rise over time, and this is a pattern we've seen in the past. What happens is you get a very large error section, and as it shrinks down, the Earth becomes a bigger and bigger part of that fuzzy error, or where it could arrive. But eventually, it shrinks down and the Earth is suddenly outside. So the probability goes up, 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 and then suddenly it drops to zero very quickly. That's probably what we're going to see.
That sounds wonderful. That'd be a great play from John Madden's book if we see that happen. Because right now we're at that point where it is going up and up and up, but it just recently has dropped down to 1.5% chance of hitting. So maybe we're in that stage where as the error is shrinking, The Earth is looking more and more outside of it and will hopefully drop to zero. But let's say it doesn't drop to zero. That space rock is real stubborn. It's an old battle axe up there. It said, let's get this farty sharded, and it only continues to go up. So it dropped today, but maybe it spikes back up tomorrow. We never actually leave that error, and as it becomes less and less uncertain, the percentage chance of it hitting us grows too. Well, Scott Manley talks about what our options could be in the case of an impending impact of an asteroid of this size. But before showing you our defensive options, whether we'd play a zone defense or man-to-man, I would like to show you what Scott said about the size of the asteroid, because not even that is fully known. We don't have enough data to know for certain the density or the size, so right now we're using some other factors to try and estimate.
It was unfortunately discovered too late to get any radar observations in on it, so we don't have a really good constraint on the size of the object. What we're doing is looking at the brightness and saying, based upon its estimated surface reflectivity, albedo, it could be anywhere from 40 to 90 meters across, which, that's a factor of 2, but because it's a volume, it's squared, and because we don't know the density, this object could be anywhere from, say, 25,000 tons to 1,000,000 tons of mass.
Yikes. 1,000,000 tons of anything is usually bad news. That's a recipe for disaster. I can't really think of 1,000,000 tons of anything that's positive. You know what they say? 1 ton, calm down, son. 1,000,000 ton, now I'm not having fun. My whole city's fucking dead. It's all done.
Which, if you do the math on that, it says each, pound for pound, kilogram for kilogram, it would have 37 times the energy density of TNT. So that means that 27,000 minimalist low-end version is a 1 megaton blast. The big one is potentially about 40 megatons. So this is, strategic scale nuclear device yield equivalent. This is something that could absolutely devastate a very large area.
Douchebag universe shooting nuke rocks at us? Like, come on. What assholes, right? I mean, pardon my French, but the universe can be a real jerk. Space sucks. I'll say it. I'll be brave. Space sucks. You can't breathe out there in space without specialized equipment. No gravity, so you can't even get blood to your wiener and jerk off if you wanted to. Like, it sucks. There's nothing good about it. And then you can't even exist peacefully on your own little space rock without another one coming your way, fucking speeding like it's late to something and causing a ruckus.
We know based upon the timing that it would have to hit along this very narrow strip of the Earth. And this is a thin section that runs from like Central America across the Atlantic. If it lands in the ocean, that's probably not such a big deal. If it lands in a relatively uninhabited part of the world, probably not a big deal. But if it did land in a more inhabited area, well, we might want to evacuate it. That's one thing you can do. When it's something of this scale and you have 4 years of warning, it's absolutely something that you can plan. You could probably constrain it sufficiently that you could decide to make sure that no one was in that area.
Unless it's Florida. You bet your sweet bippy, if Florida was in the crosshairs here, if it was like bullseye, this asteroid is going to hit Florida, you should evacuate. I promise you, bet your bottom dollar, that sweet bippy, there would be so many Florida people that are like, hey, I don't believe it. I'm going to hunker down. I can handle hurricanes. I can absolutely handle a little fucking pebble falling from space. You know what I mean? And then you'd have that shit come and it'd look like Independence Day when the White House blew up. Like, Florida got lucky if all this data stays this way, where Florida is not within that zone, because if it was, you would not be getting them out. The only way you'd be getting people out of Florida is if you literally, like, cryogenically froze them and transported them out yourself. Shit, I'm not gonna lie to you. Born and raised in Florida, never lived anywhere else. If I saw Florida in that line, like, if they had that, like, in the sniper scope, like the asteroid was gonna hit, I'd be sitting there scratching my chinny chin chin going, could I take that, you think? Do you think my house could tank that? I mean, like, Florida houses are built for, like, Category 5 hurricanes, right? I mean, this probably isn't much stronger than that, right? Like, I'd have a debate with myself. Isn't that crazy? Like, I'd actually be thinking, what if, though? That'd be a crazy stream, right? I mean, that'd be a nuts stream, and we don't know for sure. we don't know if a house can stand up to an asteroid. It's never been tested. Yeah, we've got a lot of data and a lot of common sense that says it stands no chance, but data also said I'd be 5'8". I'm 5'6". Sometimes miracles happen. You never really know, you know what I mean?
We have recently demonstrated with the DART mission that humanity now has the ability to change the orbit of asteroids. It is possible that if it was going to, say, come down over India or something where there was sufficient self-interest and money, then the orbit could be changed. And the way you change the orbit is you hit the asteroid with a spacecraft, and there's a bit of momentum transfer, and that changes the period of the orbit ever so slightly. Now, in the case of the DART mission, it was able to move Dimorphos, which was a bigger object, by the way, by about a few hundred kilometers in the last couple of years.
So there's DART that I mentioned earlier. So I am happy to hear that this would theoretically work against this asteroid should it be necessary. However, he goes on to mention that when you're changing the velocity, you're moving it along that line he already drew. So you're changing it and it'd still be within that line and it'd become a trolley problem fundamentally, as he described it, which I'm sure all of you have heard of the trolley problem before. Changing the orbit of the asteroid becomes very complicated on international levels because as Scott mentions, if it was looking to impact somewhere over India, and India then starts trying to push it east to maybe get it off of Earth, well, it's going to go over China, and they're obviously not going to be too thrilled about that, and if it doesn't fully get off Earth and impacts China, well, that's going to be a local disaster for China and also an economic disaster for the rest of the world, so it just becomes a very tricky, complicated issue. While we can change the orbit of these asteroids with DART, it becomes very difficult to assess how and where. It gets very complicated. Scott then goes on to mention that while this is the highest probability of an impact, 2032, it's not the only one. He mentions that it could miss us, narrowly miss us, and then still come back around and impact us at a later date. So Scott Manley said, and I think this is a great clip that I'd like to play you because he's 100% right, that even if this one is a miss, and even if the one after it is a miss, all of these go to zero, one day it won't.
I think we're going to find that in the next few weeks that the probability goes to zero, but one of these days it's not going to go to zero, and then humanity is really going to have to embrace the power of the DART program and change the universe around us. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.
I think he's 100% right on the money here. Now, of course, I'm just a smooth brain idiot. I'm not an actual smart person or anything, but I think he's 100% correct. There will come a time where we're not going to get lucky. It's already happened before. Earth has been hit by a fucking planetary killing asteroid. RIP to the dinosaurs out there. Pour one out for them. And I think we will need to really fully start to look at DART, improve it, and really, go hog wild with it in order to protect the planet. And I like that statement of changing the universe around us, because I think it's going to get to that point at some stage. So yeah, I don't know if this asteroid's going to hit. Nobody knows right now. It's only estimates. Hopefully it doesn't. But I just wanted to talk about it because I've been kind of glued to the subject today. That's really about it. So yeah. I was just going to ignore this alien update here because it's so outrageous that it actually is insulting that people believe it, because if you look beyond the headline for just 2 sentences, you only need 2 sentences worth of work, you will realize that this is the most stupid, dumb fanfic that has been written since Tumblr was popular, about giants who built pyramids on Mars. This has gained some traction because a CIA document was declassified that talked about this experiment. If you can even call it an experiment, it feels more like everyone at the CIA headquarters was on PCP and just journaling their experience. It's about as much of an experiment as me putting my finger in my butt and seeing if it smells bad. Their method for reaching this conclusion, if you can even call it that, that's a loosey-goosey usage of the word conclusion, was they induced an altered state of consciousness through sound frequencies that split a person's spirit from their body, and they astral projected them 1,000,000 years before humanity onto Mars, where they claim they saw giants building pyramids. That is the actual intelligence gathering method the CIA used to crack the mystery of Mars. It's about as reliable as me saying I had a dream about giants building pyramids on Mars, thus it must be true. Like, whoever came up with this was watching way too much Doctor Who at the time. So it was stated in one of the CIA projects, Stargate, in the report, Exploration of Mars, May 22nd, 1984. Literally 1984, holy shit. However, the sensational data was obtained in extremely dubious ways, according to British Daily Mail. By the way, the Daily Mail is like the main source that all of this comes from. I can't believe Daily Mail has made such a fucking comeback as a tabloid. It's unbelievable. But anyway, so what happened is, the agency recruited people who claimed to have psychic abilities. Well, that sounds trustworthy. People claiming to be psychics. Surely nobody lied about their psychic abilities. They fucking recruited Mob Psycho out here. Then they included binaural rhythms, simultaneous listening to sounds at different frequencies, and semi-synchronized audio to induce altered state of consciousness, separate the spirit from body, and send it traveling through the astral. It's a fucking anime plot. Like, this is something you'd see from, like, a garbage tier anime of just mumbo jumbo. But this is something the CIA apparently actually did. And according to one of the psychic subjects, they got sent to Mars 1,000,000 years before our era and found out Mars had pyramids similar to the Egyptian ones, but then the giants had to look for a new place to live because their environment was spoiled. Well, that settles it. I always knew that that's what was going on with Mars. And thankfully now we have irrefutable proof. Because one guy said so. He said he went 1,000,000 years before our era. Let's just play with that for a minute. How would you know that? Let's say he actually did somehow fucking astral project because he listened to Led Zeppelin backwards or whatever the CIA was pumping through those headphones. And he goes 1,000,000 years back to the past, like Samurai Jack here, on Mars. How would he know he's 1,000,000 years before humanity? How would he know that? Did they have a calendar on Mars that he was able to check? Then he could put it against the start of humanity and check like, oh, well, the upcoming patch notes for humanity aren't for 1,000,000 more years. Oh my god, I'm 1,000,000 years before humanity. Like, how in the world would he have possibly had any available information to deduce that he is 1,000,000 years before humanity on Mars? Like, how would he even know he's on Mars? It could be any other planet in the fucking universe. Was there like a welcome to Mars sign that he entered like through the fucking pearly gates or something? Like, how anyone could have actually conducted this experiment and thought there was any valuable information from it is beyond me. It makes me so mad, actually. Like, at this point, people will just believe anything at all. Not to go off on too big of a tangent, but it somehow Flat Earth always comes up because I think it's just the shining example of people just wanting to believe something because they want to, and no matter what you do, you can't convince them otherwise. No matter how many times flat earthers prove themselves wrong, they still just wipe their ass with it and don't care. There was just another one done called The Final Experiment, where a bunch of flat earthers were talking about how there could be no 24-hour sun because the earth is flat and it doesn't fit into that model. Well, The Final Experiment brought those flat earthers out, and they, with their own fucking peepers, confirmed that, yep, there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And then instead of just accepting that and being like, I guess we were wrong about flat Earth, some of them were saying like, well, doesn't mean that we're wrong about flat Earth. Now we just need to figure out how a 24-hour sun works with a flat Earth model. So no matter how many times you have overwhelming evidence to suggest something is wrong or can't be true, people will still just believe in it because. And what do you do about that? Nothing. You can do nothing about that. And to tie that into the giant pyramid building Martians, there are people that are now running with this and saying like, finally, the CIA has confirmed what we always knew to be true about alien life and Mars and pyramids. And if you just look at how that data, if you can call it data, was collected, you should be able to realize that it's a load of hooey. It's fucking baloney. Project Stargate was meant to be a weapon against the Soviet Union that aimed to basically create psychers from Warhammer 40k. I'm sure all of you know by now some of the torturous experiments the CIA performed on people. I also imagine the psychics that signed up for this program were probably also treated like shit by the CIA just because the CIA has a history of doing some absolutely inhumane tests on people. So I think there's a chance that the psychics in here also had that kind of mistreatment, which is a terrible thing. Project Stargate was shut down in 1995, and then leading up to its closure was Mars Exploration, May 22nd, 1984, which is a document that was declassified in 2017, but only recently resurfaced. And it kind of goes over the entire kit and caboodle of how they even came to this Mars giant theory. Basically, it boils down to a bit of an interview where the subject is just saying things. He's just kind of talking about some stuff that he's imagining. So, like, the administrator asks him to focus his attention on 40.89 degrees north and 9.55 degrees west. And the subject responds, sort of looks like, kind of got an oblique view of a pyramid, or pyramid form. And this kind of dialogue goes back and forth for a while, and concludes with the subject saying that the people there are looking for a way to survive, but they just can't because their environment is full of corruption. The subject claims to have even spoken with one of the people who told them that the group had left in what looks like the inside of a larger boat. Maybe some kind of ark, perchance, drawing inspiration from the Bible on Mars maybe, who knows. Also, how would one of the people have spoken to the person that astral projected there? You're telling me that the ancient giant Martians saw a fucking Force ghost pop in there like Obi-Wan Kenobi and they just started like trauma dumping to the astral projection? Really? Like, hey, far be it from me to question the wisdom of the Martians, I suppose. The administrator keeps pressing the subject to go further until eventually, you know, bringing him back to 1984. And that's where all of this comes from. That is the declassified CIA document about life on Mars that some people are now taking as the gospel. That this has confirmed alien life on Mars at one point. It's just sad. Please, just do yourself a favor. Read it, and then actually just like marinate on it for a second and ask yourself, is this a reliable way of gathering data? Does this really prove alien life on Mars? Because if the answer to that question is yes, you need to take a hard look in the mirror. Like, it's crazy. What if I told you there's life on Pluto right now? You can't really prove me wrong, per se. You haven't been there yourself. But why would you just blindly take that at face value? Like, I have no real evidence to prove there's life on Pluto. Neither did the CIA experiment here. So why believe in it? Why not wait until there's some actual substantiated evidence about these kind of things? There's no reason to marry yourself to this kind of belief based on an absolute nothing burger. You don't have to do that. You can just say like, oh, that was an interesting read, but I'm not convinced yet. I'll wait. But it's food for thought. Nothing wrong with that. I just don't understand how people just like fucking cannonball into the deep end here for these kind of things. Read past the headline. Like, just read past the headline on that, and I really think it should have been obvious that this is not real. So anyway, that's the most recent alien update. That's about it. So yeah. There is countless theories on the end times and how the world will end, and signs that will showcase the end of the world is nigh. And I hate to be the one to break this news to you, but I have been sending you signs that there is a doomsday along the way. I have been dressing differently, aside from today. Today I'm back in the white t-shirt, but on the whole, I've been wearing black t-shirts, gray t-shirts, and as God is my witness, I tell ya, I'm almost ashamed to admit it, but a V-neck sweater. And the thing is, I've been working on upgrading my wardrobe. This is one of those telltale signs, I think it even ties back into the Bible at some point about how, you know, the apocalypse will roll through, that the end of the world is on its way. And now we have confirmation that there's a chance. Apophis, 2029. I don't know how many of you heard about this. I'm, of course, exaggerating. It's predicted, and I think it's like almost 100% certain to miss Earth, but it will be a close call, and it is a giant space rock barreling in this direction. Now, of course, that's nothing new. That's business as usual in the cosmos. The only thing that makes this a little different is typically something of this size gets intercepted by Jupiter, who basically plays goalie for us. Jupiter absorbs a lot of things that would potentially hit Earth. We're in a really fortuitous position to be where we are in the solar system, but this one is going to get around Jupiter here, get past that defense system, and it is going to make a pretty close pass to Earth. But even that's not that unusual either. There's a lot of fear-mongering headlines about Apophis coming up, and I just went over it on stream and kind of want to talk about it a little bit, mainly because its name is the God of Chaos. So it's a pretty scary sounding name, like straight out of a fucking anime. And I just find it to be extremely interesting. I don't think there's anything to worry about come 2029, but I thought I'd at least put it on your radar. If you remember the Apophis asteroid, you can see how close it will get if you go to... You can see how close it will get if you go to Eye on the solar system and set the date to April 13th, 2029. Well, it's not going to hit us, so I don't care how close it gets. Fuck it. But that was an interesting read when we went over that. Okay, wait. Hold on, there's a new headline. NASA launches mission to intercept God of Chaos asteroid before it scratches Earth's orbit. What the fuck kind of headline is that? Wait, this one says it's the Demon of Chaos. Which one's the correct one? Looks like God of Chaos. A NASA spacecraft recently returned from deep space has been relaunched for a mission to study the God of Chaos asteroid as it begins to near Earth's orbit. The agency's spacecraft OSIRIS-REx, now named OSIRIS-APEX, has been set off to study the asteroid Apophis' extremely close flyby of Earth in 2029, the likes of which hasn't happened since the dawn of recorded history. Well, I wasn't worried about it before, but reading this, I'm starting to get a little concerned. The God of Chaos, huh? Apophis, known as the God of Chaos, is expected to fly by Earth on April 13th, 2029, only about 20,000 miles away, closer than some man-made satellites, and could even be visible in the Eastern Hemisphere. That would be the most terrifying thing imaginable. You're just hanging out outside. Maybe you're coming back from playing a little pickup ball with the boys, and you look up and you're like, oh my god, it's a fucking asteroid. That would be terrifying. They ruled it basically has no chance of impact. Well, that's what I read last time. But now, reading these headlines that they have a mission to intercept the God of Chaos, it's like, well, are we sure there's no chance? The rock, which measures about 370 yards across, only comes this close to Earth every 7,500 years. Earth's gravity will affect the space rock as it nears orbit, and OSIRIS-APEX will study the aftermath to see how its surface changes. The effects of Earth are expected to change the length of the asteroid's day, which is currently around 30.6 hours. It could also cause the God of Chaos to experience landslides and quakes. Apophis is a giant cobra and the Egyptian demon god of chaos. The sun god Ra fights him every night after the sun goes down. Oh, that's the lore. We know that tidal forces and the accumulation of rubble pile material are foundational processes that could play a role in a planet formation. They could inform how we got from debris in the early solar system to full-blown planets. The spacecraft will meet the S-type asteroid on April 13, 2029, but will not land on it. Rather, operate in proximity to it for 18 months. Not only will it look at surface changes, but it will map the surface and analyze the rock chemical makeup. Thanks for membership, Zach. It will also go within 16 feet of the rock's surface so it can fire its thrusters downward to see what stirs up, giving scientists a peek at the material that lies below. Although the rock is still 5 years away from Earth, scientists will be watching as it nears its first of 6 close passes with the sun. Earth server shutting down? I hope not. 2029, that's way too early. Florida won't even be underwater by then. What a shame that would be. If it was confirmed to hit in 2029, what would you do with your last 5 years on Earth? Probably find a way to get off Earth. I don't know. Thanks, Prime Topaz. I wouldn't just, like, wait for it, and I wouldn't do, like... I mean, I'd, of course, do things I've always wanted to do but was afraid to, like go to Japan and all that. But I'd also just try and find ways to survive. I wouldn't just, like, you know, put it in the books. I'd be like, alright, there's got to be a way. You're afraid of Japan? I'm afraid of flying. Yeah, I guess I said that wrong. I'm afraid of flying, which prevents me from going to Japan. Bro just wants teleportation. Absolutely, who doesn't? That'd be the best invention we'd ever come up with. Teleportation would be the handiest thing imaginable. I couldn't think of a more important discovery. You jump right at impact so you wouldn't die. Oh, you'd get iframes. So when the asteroid hits, you'd survive. Interesting. But I feel like it'd be a lingering hitbox. It's not just going to be the impact itself. It'll be everything that comes after. So you probably wouldn't be able to outlast the hitbox. I really feel like we have to have the ability to destroy an asteroid, right? They can't be that strong. It's just a fucking rock. It's just a space rock. It doesn't even have conscious thought. It's not even sentient. I feel like we could absolutely just blow it up. Nuke it. Maybe a giant laser. We already redirected an asteroid with DART. Did we? I feel like that... Actually, that does sound familiar. I feel like I read about that. This year, an asteroid came as close as 17,000 miles. This one is 22,000 miles. It'd be really handy if we could, like, slow it down and just bring it to Earth and just harvest it. I imagine you get so much good materials from that shit. Maybe what we need is a giant net to catch it. And, like, gently bring it in. Or even don't even bring it in. Just keep it in orbit and mine it. That's what they tried to do in Don't Look Up. Yeah, they did it wrong, though. They should have had me theorize how to slow down the asteroid. I've got a good idea. A giant pitcher's glove, or catcher's glove. Giant mitt. Just let it blast into it. There's no material strong enough to catch an asteroid moving at 10,000 meters per second. Well, what do you know? I'm sure we have something. Maybe like a giant diamond net. Diamonds are like really strong. Or maybe we slow it down with a few nukes. Like we blast it a couple times and it's like, ooh, shit. And it starts pumping the brakes. If you nuke it, then the nuke rocks would still fall on us. Which is why we have tinier little gloves out there catching those before they get to Earth. Basically what I'm setting up is Earth with just a bunch of giant mitts. Like I'm putting us in a bubble. Would you rather have teleportation or the Force? Stupid question. Teleportation. Why would I care about the Force? Teleportation is so much more useful. I heard that there's new material made out of human DNA and glass that's 4 times stronger than steel and 5 times as light. I'm not sure, though. I haven't heard anything about that. It sounds like you were watching anime or something. Human DNA and glass? How do those two even mix? So what's the plan if Florida suddenly goes under? Underwater or hit by an asteroid? Because if I'm hit by an asteroid, I don't have a whole lot of planning time. But underwater, I have time. Florida will eventually be underwater. That's going to happen. And my plan for when that happens is I'll just go a little up north. The video of 1,000-mile-per-hour ball from Dustin, smarter every day, debunks your theory. Which theory? I've proposed like 6. Which of my bulletproof theories gets debunked? For far too long now, the unexplainable mysteries of our universe have plagued humanity's greatest minds. But now, that time has passed. We've entered into an age of enlightenment. And I actually am convinced now that those so-called intellectuals, those scientists, weren't all that smart to begin with because those idiots never even thought to ask a YouTuber what the secrets of the universe hold. Because YouTubers know far more than anyone else on this planet. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say what everyone's thinking. YouTubers are probably the smartest people humanity has to offer, period. Bar none. And then under that, maybe then we could talk about astrophysicists. But even then, the gap between first and second place is so wide. When it comes to the intellectual food chain of society, YouTubers are at the tippy top, the cream of the crop. We're the apex predators of big brain. So what am I talking about here? Well, Logan Paul, with his degree in influencing, flexed his mega mind, all the billions of wrinkles in his brain, firing neurons working overtime in order to produce irrefutable evidence in how the universe actually functions. And he posted the receipts. He posted that proof on Twitter. He just flopped that meat on the table and said, here, I'll do it myself then. And I gotta tell you, it's impressive stuff. It's very compelling. And I think all of us are smarter now for having witnessed it. Please tell me you've seen Logan Paul's tweet about understanding the universe. Infinity as a concept doesn't exist in natural universe. Sphere, circle equals God shape, celestial body. Universe is likely finite. 3 contained, 3 spherical. Time infinite. Eventually all stars will die equals no more light. That's an and? What? This is an and? I've never seen that. That doesn't look anything like a normal and symbol, but alright. Eventually all stars will die, no more light. If universe is contained, has an end, can we assume apple in a box theory? When everything is dead and dust and becomes a dense collection of matter be gravity. Oh, because gravity. Black holes everywhere. Bro, what? Did he go on like an ayahuasca trip or something? Like what the fuck is this? The universe essentially collapses on itself. High density and temperature. Big Bang. Universe repeats. Life is cyclical. We become the apple again. Conclusion. Nothing matters except the time we have now and each other. Love. A force of attraction similar to gravity. Black holes, wormholes, laws of physics no longer apply. Infinity exists. Multiverse. But who/what created and why? God. He's done it. He's achieved nirvana. He's in the mainframe of the universe. It's all laid out right in front of us. We can see her bare bottom. On the table, he has placed it upon us. We get to gaze into the infinite wisdom and see the universe for the truth of what it is. This is like some filler shit they'd have in like a B movie for a villain. Like right before the villain commits some kind of horrible atrocity, they're like flipping through his sketchbook and it's like, oh, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And then the next page is like burning bodies. What in the Moonfall? This is some very Moonfall shit. I'm surprised he didn't go into like mega structurist kind of shit. Exactly, yeah. Moon hollow, but why? Because infinite temperature, but apple. I don't think Logan's an idiot. I think he knows exactly what he's doing with this shit. I think he was hoping to get people talking by posting some lunacy. It didn't, I don't think it like really worked for him though. This didn't get like crazy engagement. He just kind of got laughed at, it seems. He's trying to get people to buy Prime. I know. I am curious if Logan Paul actually converts and gets people to buy the product. Because I feel like it's KSI that actually does all of the heavy lifting. I feel like every promotional piece Logan Paul does is laughable. Like, I feel like he actively deters from people taking it seriously. Meanwhile, KSI fucking crushes it. This looks cool. What the fuck is this?
Of all the galaxies in space.
God damn. This is some crazy production for a YouTube video. What the fuck? Have you seen porn? Yeah, I've heard of it before, yeah. What about this video brought that question up? Is that what you get out of aliens? Look at that shithole.
What we see around us is staggering.
Dumbass fucking space rock.
First, you need energy.
Uh-huh. Gamer energy. But fundamental to all life.
Well, planets are great.
How much do you think this was to make?
And our early Earth was almost...
Definitely more than like $100 bucks. Or maybe someone on Fiverr made it, to be fair. People on Fiverr are so fucking talented. I was looking at the artists on Fiverr the other day. Those people are crazy good.
To contain huge ocean.
Oh god. It's like a James Bond intro. This is so well made. Like, I feel like I'm smarter now for having watched this. God, that must have been miserable. Stupid idiots should have just waited until 2020. Dummies. Then they would have the internet and shit. That's only 12 light That's only 12 light years away. That's like a brisk walk. Fuck, the water got stuck. I wish we could just fucking find aliens already. Can you imagine if we found aliens, what that would do for our species? I really feel like finding aliens or aliens visiting us and making like a YouTube video or like a fucking Twitch live stream of saying like, hey, we're fucking aliens on your planet would be so good for us. I think they would hate us. No, I don't think... Why would they hate us? I mean, if they went on Twitter, they would, but we could just give them the best parts of us. No, what if there's no disease out in space, though? Like viruses, bacteria, and all that shit doesn't exist in space. No. There's no proof. We've never seen a virus in space. Is that a fact? I'm gonna look that up. Bacteria is... That would count as life, man. I don't think we found bacteria in space, have we? Let's see. Like Mars bacteria? Evidence for microbial life on Mars. Fossilized bacteria. Nope. So that's as close as we've gotten, it seems. Yeah, so chat's wrong. Like I said, we haven't discovered any bacteria or viruses out in space. Maybe they don't exist. Maybe it's only like really large-chested, beautiful space women out there. And also, if aliens visit us and they die to our viruses, who gives a fuck? We only need them for like a minute. Just to prove they exist. Then they can vaporize or whatever. It doesn't matter. God damn. Yeah, but if there is life in our solar system, they're just as dumb as we are. It means they haven't figured out faster than light travel yet. I wouldn't even want to meet them. Their IQ's probably low as fuck. How would we communicate with them? I don't know, man. The Rosetta Stone? I have no clue. Fucking Duolingo? You're asking the wrong guy.
We're gonna understand the implications of that.
Intelligent life probably isn't common, though. No, I bet it is. I bet they have some fucking bomb-ass Battle Royale video games in space.
Potential signs of habitability in their atmosphere. And here we are, on the verge of finding that out.
That would be, it would be so fucking cool. Even just to see like a tiny bacteria somewhere out in space to know it's there. And then just kind of monitor it, like a little pet out in space. Why is the music ramping up like this? Is it about to reveal the aliens are coming? Christ! No, tell him not to! Holy shit! We're going too deep! God, they nuked outer space! Fuck! Man, the universe is such a weird thing. Like, what a goofball, right? Like, just spontaneously combusting into creating, like, an entire fucking giant, like, unimaginably huge place. Like, it's crazy. How silly. See, this is exactly what I fucking proposed, which NASA's kind of doing. We send missiles of cum to space. We can seed other planets. We just need to find a way to keep the cum warm while it travels. Man, look at all this space out here behind the Big Bang. Who lives out here? Galactus? Man, the universe is such a fucking crazy concept. Just from nothing, from nowhere, there just was particles, and they just blew up one day or whatever. Crazy. The universe is cringe. Yeah. Universe is kind of posting cringe. We very well could be alone. Maybe our memes are too dank and they want nothing to do with us. It's anyone's guess. That'd be rough. These two sides would never get along with each other here. Oh, it'll absolutely take the form of Redditors. A whole planet of Redditors. Can you imagine the paradise, the utopia? That's the optimal form for life. This is where Yahoo Answers brings us. Yeah, if only we'd listen to Yahoo Answers, we could have civilizations like this. Now I feel very small in such a big world. And very small by Earth standards too, I suppose. Well done, Melody Sheep. That shit banged. Flat Earthers versus scientists. Can we trust science? Well, before even watching it, I'm going to go ahead and answer that. Yes. If there's one thing in the world you can trust, it's probably going to be science. The fucking hot dog man or flat earthers probably aren't the most reliable source of shit you can trust, I would say. That's like trusting the guy who sells you laced weed behind the dumpster to trust him with your finances. Alright, now I'm ready for action. Let's see if we can truly trust science. It's been a question on my mind for a long time. I'd always debate who's more reliable, a flat earther who's sniffing their own farts and shitting in their diaper, or science. And it's really a toss-up.
Hey guys. Puzzle piece. And then one of those pieces just wasn't fitting.
I'm always open to...
To who? Who went through their whole life hollow, knowing that they've been lied to, that the world is not a globe and a piece of them has been missing, and that's why they're still a virgin at 40 years old?
I'd like to tear them to pieces.
That looks like a flat earther. Part-time biker, full-time alcoholic abusive father. Definite flat earther.
My name is Dan Glattman. I work as Dan the Waterman in the drinking water filtration.
Earth was created by a higher power.
Dan the Waterman doesn't believe in God?
Well, I've been...
He must have seen Rick and Morty while cleaning a pool once.
The scriptures in the Bible that point to a flat earth.
I'm all for religion and believing what you want to believe. I think it's very important to find your own answers, but why use books like the Bible as a source of irrefutable evidence?
My name is Wendell. I am a
That's such a sensitive name.
Based,
Wendell.
And scientific flat earth.
Kind of guy that cries when he jerks off because he feels like he's disrespecting the actresses with his sin.
I had a lot of questions. An observation at Salton Sea, and things just didn't add up down there. So we've gone back probably a dozen times.
Well, you can't argue with the facts, I guess.
There is no...
I looked at the water once, and well, it wasn't falling off the side of the planet, so there's no way it's curved.
Discussion groups, panels, we've gone against opposition.
I have a sneaking suspicion all three of these are anti-vaxxers as well.
Earth is its own worst enemy.
Well, they say in 14 of the documents.
You should read what NASA says, and you should listen to what NASA says. I would love to see...
I would also love to see that. In fact, I'm sorry, Wendell, to step on your toes over there, because I know you're a cornucopia of great information and calorie crusading, but I have to know. Is there actual documents from NASA saying the Earth is flat?
I'm what you call a globe denier.
So an idiot. A fucking idiot. A limp-dicked loser. All synonymous with globe denier.
Would find it to be an ice plane where we have a localized sun and our environment thrives there. You know,
I too like science fiction.
Have misled us on alternative media is just a thing of beauty for me.
When he says alternative media, he's not even talking about alternative media. He watches 4 subscriber YouTubers that are on the run for drug possession charges and child molestation who talk about flat Earth, and then he goes and raves about that video on his anti-vax Facebook groups.
And they're my mind because my mind isn't set. NASA is solely designed to change my mind.
Which it would if you'd read anything from them.
Has been a television program.
Foundation for why I believe the Earth is flat. And
well, it is, right?
I have evidence that proves it's flat.
Shelby, show us.
What type of We're being misled. We're being deliberately misled.
But that's not evidence.
So what's your evidence?
We see too far. We see too far. We should
That's not evidence.
Be able to see. I live in Dana Point.
Okay.
I can see San Clemente Island. We're 60 miles away.
I wake up in the morning and I can see the sun.
I'm on the beach.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
By gobs of science.
It's gotta suck being a scientist in 2019. There was like a golden age of science in like a...
What is the question?
I don't understand.
Man, it almost goes far back as like maybe the 70s to 90s.
Anything is possible.
Scientists were like revered, but now there's like these fucking limp-dicked lunatics and dusty-cootered old soccer moms that all of a sudden think science is evil.
With people that argue the...
Just for a second. You're never going to get 100% of anyone. There is scientific...
Except when you're talking about globe Earth. That's 100%.
Scientific consensus on evolution.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a scientist say that's wrong. And if you do, then that's a scientist that should not be in that profession.
Access to media and limited exposure. Until we're in university curriculums, we will continue to appear uneducated.
Well, that's not
What
true.
are the odds of that, Dan the
history of
Waterman?
science, we
The
had
dude who
many
pisses into the
occasions
filtration
that
systems
the
of
idea
homeowners' pools and
was not
rants
welcomed
about
by the
flat
society.
Earth and
Einstein
sheeps
was
that
one of
believe
them.
it's a globe?
Galileo.
It's
Galileo
weird
was
that
one
you'd
of
seem uneducated
But
in a
if your
university
theory is
situation.
an authentic one, closer and closer to the truth. We never get there. Never.
Well, I
That's-
know that's true for you. And
No, that's a science.
Jesus, Wendell.
Many billions of people do not believe, including myself.
And many more billions do.
So what?
So who's right?
Of course I can.
So
When you say that we stole a conclusion,
Checkmate. Wendell wins again, baby.
that to me is
The 40-year-old virgin has come with the gloves off and the condom on today.
no, you're not. You're making.
No, we,
course.
sure,
Okay.
we do make assumptions.
God, it's gotta
Sometimes
suck arguing with people with the mentality of an 8-year-old.
proven.
If gravity
We
is
don't
an
have to-
assumption, you show
Oh,
me
God.
the scientific method how you isolate gravity.
She doesn't believe in gravity.
It's the same thing. I have never seen one flat earther
I kind
use
of
math
feel
to
like
prove their
I
point.
wanna
You're wrong, actually.
develop
There's
some of this
a,
stuff a little bit
on
more
a
to
serious note,
high
there's a
level,
Flat Earth
but I feel like
documentary
there's
where they
so
did
much
use
that I
math
haven't really even
and immediately
touched
proved
based on.
themselves wrong at the end of it, so I appreciate it. What the fuck? Didn't the three of you all just use NASA to prove the Earth is flat?
Obviously, any organization.
So you don't even trust your own source? What?
They have individual.
That's absolutely not true, Jim. I wouldn't lie to you.
And the other.
NASA's lying to you, my friend.
If there is one person you can trust, it is Dan the Waterman.
Perpetuate this massive fraud. Why would they?
Mind control, Spencer.
Okay, the benefit of it.
And make our dicks smaller.
$2 a day. Follow the money.
No, the little
Follow
guy.
the
Yep.
money.
The little guy.
That's what then when you
Hear the reasonable voice and say, "Yeah, that makes more sense than having this pizza.
I mean, Spencer, you can argue all day, but Shelby came at you with some concrete shit saying, we see too far. What does science have, huh? How far does science see? You know what I mean, Spencer? Checkmate.
I used to.
Thanks for the
agree
resub,
to.
Ruthless.
So I completely understand where you're coming
Menopause has not been kind to you, has it, Shelby?
Look, anybody who can overturn Einstein or some major theory is going to be eventually written in the halls of
Yeah.
science for the rest of their
And it
lives.
could be
But they
Dan
have
the
to come up
Waterman.
with the goods. They have to show good science-based evidence.
Wait until you see the drawing he did on a napkin, Spencer. It once and for all proves that not only is the Earth flat, but men that are above 5'6" are fake. Actors, robots, reptilians, it's all proven. I used to make fun of flat earthers. I thought it was all just a bunch of bullshit until today. Today I found two very convincing videos that grabbed me by the dick and led me towards the light. Evidence so compelling it's opened my third eye. I'm going to share the videos with you, and I trust that you will also now become part of the flat earth cult as a result of watching these videos. This shit's powerful.
Hi, flat earthers. Y'all know me, right? I am here just to tell you something. I want you to stay flat. Because if you don't, then the next generation is gonna suffer. Eh? Remember, flat.
When I saw jolly old Saint Nick preaching the good word of flat earth theory, I knew maybe this wasn't bullshit. Maybe there was something more to this. There's only two people I trust, and it's Santa Claus and Logan Paul. Both of them believe in flat earth. Maybe there's something to this. It's like the old Christmas jingle goes. Santa Claus, he'll fuck your bitch. Miss Saint Nick can suck a dick. Milk and cookies, fuck that shit. Leave him flat earth and a bottle of piss. Not a bad freestyle. What I'm saying is, fucking Santa Claus knows what's up. And if Santa Claus believes in flat earth, maybe I should too. So I started watching videos from the experts in the community, and then I finally found one that puts NASA to shame. Evidence that's indisputable, extremely compelling evidence, and I'm going to share it with you now.
Don't worry though, there is a way to scientifically prove that the Earth is flat, and it's a pretty simple experiment. I'll explain with the Lego Earth. Here we have a small flat Earth.
I think that's about all we need to see here. Checkmate, round earth sheep. Was that a little too much for your little reptile brains to comprehend? When the Lego set comes out, that's when you know shit's getting serious and scientific. I remember when Isaac Newton first proved gravity's existence using his Lego set and the world was blown away. And now this pioneer is doing the same, proving flat earth is true.
BenderForest.com.
It was actually this video right here that convinced me without a shadow of a doubt that the Earth is flat. Now, the symbolism here and the little nuance of the video game he's created might go over your head if you're some primitive round earther, but if you've opened your eyes, if you're a euphoric being like myself, who can see that the world is obviously flat, you would understand what the creator is trying to say here. He's like a fucking Mozart here, playing this beautiful symphony of truth with flat Earth. You have to be injecting heroin to think the world is round and is spherical. It's the stupidest thing in the world. You have to be out of your mind, literally, to think that the world is round. Now, if you go into the comments section, some blasphemer was saying that the world is absolutely round, but luckily, this brave hero was able to disprove him with some just downright straight fucking facts. Just laying down a butt-fucking of facts into this man's butt-fuck hole. And with a name like Unbelievable Productions, you knew you didn't stand a chance in a debate against him. He will unbelievably butt-fuck you, especially with his production value like this. Now, let's get serious for a moment. Yeah, Flat Earth is a big fucking joke. The content they produce on YouTube is some of my favorite because there's shit like this and it's always super enjoyable to laugh at. But I do think the movement as a whole, which is somehow gaining steam, is super dangerous. Thinking the Earth is flat, that's fine if you want to be some type of fucking troglodyte. I don't care if you believe that. But it's the idea that science is wrong and denying science where I get upset, and that's what's genuinely detrimental to society. Anti-vax and flat earth, they're basically the same thing, but for some reason they hate each other and think the other one is fucking dumb. But they're the same. They're born from the same idea that science is wrong and hurting us. And that's dangerous because these fucking idiots can't recognize that science is the only reason they're even alive today. Because half of these goddamn idiots would have already died fucking choking on a rock they ate because they thought it looked appetizing, or bathing in sewage and getting an infection. Perhaps eating a block of plutonium because it smelt nice. These people would be dead without science. And yet for some reason they're the first to turn around and bash it and say it's wrong and a lie. Logan Paul, I don't think believes flat earth. I'm 100% certain he's just there to capitalize on the money there, sell some maverick flat earth merch to them, because these fucking idiots have so much disposable income that they seem to just want to get rid of all of their money, tossing it at lunatics building rockets in their backyard. So Logan Paul's smart to get into that market, and I don't think many of the people in the Flat Earth Society actually believe it. Like I said, I think they're just there to capitalize on all the disposable income they all seem to have. And you know what, that's completely fine by me. If you want to take money from these Tide Pod eating douchebags that are just too fucking dumb, I don't really mind, because they genuinely are promoting a dangerous idea to the impressionable children that science is evil and always lying to you. Don't believe science, just believe us. It's this weird indoctrination shit, a very strange cult. But yeah, anyway, what I wanted to really talk about today was the beautiful content they produce, and I really hope they do keep making these because I watch them pretty often. And I wanted to make this today because the big news about Logan Paul being a flat earther and the flat earth movement is really growing again. I'm seeing a lot of posts on Facebook from dumb friends of mine in the past like, here's the truth, removing anyone that doesn't believe, bless up, 100 emoji. Just shit like that. But keep up the great content, flat earthers. It's always nice to laugh at, and good shit. So yeah. Flat Earthers. It's low-hanging fruit. It's by far the easiest group to criticize, insult, poke fun at, etc. There's really nothing to be proud of. You're not a big man for doing it or anything, but I'm still going to do just that because I find the Flat Earthers to be the most fascinating and entertaining group of Cro-Magnon that are currently stumbling through this planet of ours. And today I just so happen to be watching a Buzzfeed video. I know it's almost as bad as believing in Flat Earth itself just by watching Buzzfeed, but this was beautiful because it was a collision of two worlds here. Flat Earth and Buzzfeed, some of the worst shit there is. And it was great because they have a staff member who believes in Flat Earth and went about why he believes in it and such, and talks about the science behind it. I'm putting science in quotes because it's just kind of like I bang two rocks together and I believe it's flat. But anyway, Ned Flanders here from Buzzfeed is going to take us through the Flat Earth basics. The video screams satire, but the problem is they commit way too hard to the role, and it makes it very hard to discern whether or not it should be taken seriously. Based on what I've learned about Buzzfeed Blue, and more in particular the cast here and the purpose, it was meant to just be an over-the-top, entertaining, but still thought-provoking piece that tries to convince you that the Earth is flat. I really am not 100% sure, but A, it's not entertaining. The humor just comes because this guy's wearing a fake mustache and doing exaggerated facial expressions. Wow, that's fucking clever. And B, they focus very hard on what flat earthers actually believe in an attempt to convince you it could be flat, so it's just super fucking hard to know for sure if it's satire or not. I'm gonna treat it as though it's not satire because it's just not even well done if it is. Toys to show that the Earth is flat and convince you that it's flat, so at least they can understand their audience that it's just a bunch of 6-year-old brains inside the body of greasy men and unattractive women. For level experiment, or at least as far as Buzzfeed was willing to research into it, I like how he drew a little penis there to represent the man looking through the telescope, but it's a shitty experiment that was immediately debunked even during its time. The reason you could see the boat from one end to the other is due to atmospheric refraction. A man named Wallace actually set up discs along the same canal and showed that the middle disc is higher than the other discs because of the curvature. Usually I wouldn't even bother talking about how it was debunked, but because of all these soft micro penis in hand flat earthers using the Bedford level experiment to become a flat earther, I thought it was at least necessary. And it's fucking laughable because it shows they did no research of their own. And it'd be as if a man turns to Scientology because he watched an episode of Gurren Lagann. It's just fucking dumb. And there's almost 5 of us now. Look at these super successful intellectuals that are famous because of how smart and you're seeing it made out of Play-Doh here, looking like a fucking 3rd grade art project. I'm a believer. It's not crazy at all. I feel like I was crazy to ever even believe science and logic. Well, shucks, now I gotta fit in with the flat earthers. I'm gonna have to start denying climate change and having sex with yet asshole. Gravity is a fucking fib. The universe, the sun, everything bends and moves around the earth because the earth is the protagonist of the universe's manga. Open your fucking eyes, you goddamn troglodytes. The frog's like a fucking NASCAR race and we're just the pit crew on board. Yeehaw! Can I get a hoo-wee? Photographs are easily faked. Absolute genius.
Listen, global warming is gonna melt away that ice wall.
Global warming? You're not coming into the Flat Earth Society anymore, bud. We're rescinding that invitation. But yeah, thanks BuzzFeed for the eye-opening material, honestly. Really great shit. Earth is flat. Globe Earthers, I can't... You sheep. Stop believing the government's chemtrails. That's it. So yeah. What's up everybody, it's Critical. Today I saw a video that really salted my rectal flaps. It's from a flat earther as he harasses a NASA employee at a Starbucks, and it's truly just infuriating. I'm not gonna go into depth about how stupid flat earthing is, so I'll just sum it up by saying to anyone who truly believes the earth is flat, you're wrong. It's not an opinion, it's genuinely just you're wrong. Also, I'm sorry in advance that this troglodyte filmed this vertically. I guess flat earthers also don't believe in horizontal videos. Those must just be a scam from government reptilian humanoid officials. But anyway, let's dive in.
Pardon me? Alright guys, I'm here with a real NASA employee. Legit NASA employee.
So here's our protagonist. I didn't mean to pause it during a shaky cam screen, that's my apologies there. I know this looks like one of the fucking photographs from the Ring movies, but for how stupid this man's actions are from this point forward, I think it'd even be better if he had blurred his own face out.
And I asked him, I said, astronauts have almost died in space. They got water in their suit and they almost drowned. And he said it was because of saliva.
I'm gonna get this out of the way. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about here. I don't know about astronauts drowning in space, except maybe drowning in pussy when they get back from space. That makes sense to me. But as far as this man's lunacy is concerned, I don't know what the fuck he's going on about. I also don't see why this topic is the smoking gun for flat earthers. Astronauts have a dangerous job. We knew it. The Earth is flat. Also, this badly bearded biker-looking dude is the founder of an official Flat Earth talk panel and website or something, and they were really excited that he ran into a real NASA employee in the video description.
This guy right here, hold on, I'm gonna wait for him to get at the front of the line, and then I'm gonna ask him some more questions. There's a real NASA employee right here.
Just wanted to point out this badly shaven beard here. This is a weak beard game. It looks like a hairy toilet seat. If you do this with your beard, stop. I know why he's doing this. He wants to make it look like he has a stronger jawline than he has, and it doesn't even look like he has a jawline, judging from this angle. It looks like his neck is trying to eat his cheeks, and with the way his beard is shaven, it looks like armpits. If I didn't see his nose, I would be 100% convinced I'm looking at a close-up of an armpit.
Hey, my man, sir. Just the spacewalk. He won't talk to me, sir.
Now this Mongoloid is starting to attract attention to himself. The other customers have now been made aware of his presence, and unfortunately for them, they're in for quite the shit show coming up.
Look, he was all nice. He was all nice. He gave me NASA cartoon freaking emblems.
That is a sticker, you stupid, soggy scrotum of a man. It is a fucking sticker. It's not a cartoon thingy emblem, it is a sticker.
Now he won't talk to me. He won't talk to me at all. Sir, just tell him why they almost drowned in space. Please.
Have a nice day, okay?
Come on, you won't even chat with me?
Nope.
You hate Americans? Is that it?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How the hell did you get that? Don't ever accuse me of that again.
Well, hey, I'm just curious. If you won't chat with me and answer my question.
Now this fucking degenerate makes his move and starts harassing the NASA employee and then accuses him of hating Americans because by not answering one lunatic's stupid questions it means you hate all of America. I guess at no point in this man's underdeveloped brain did he happen to think, you know, maybe it's a little uncomfortable for him to answer a question on camera while I'm being a dick to him.
I don't have to chat with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Step
true.
over there, okay? I'm done.
You're not the boss of me, bro. I'll leave because you asked me to. It's fine. But this NASA's a fraud, bro. All right. They lie about everything. That's cool. I was just trying to ask questions.
I love that line from the Lord of Greece and Ignorance. You're not the boss of me, bro. It's like a fucking toddler who just got told the Power Rangers aren't a real crime-fighting organization. It's amazing, and he says this right after he was demanding answers from the NASA employee. It's just, holy shit, amazing.
Yeah. Well, I just got kicked out of Starbucks for asking NASA employee questions because he's lying. He's a blatant liar.
You didn't get kicked out because you were asking questions, dipshit. You got kicked out because you were harassing him and being a general fucking inconvenience to everyone around you. When you go into a room, you bring everyone's mood down. You sweat incompetence, and people can smell that and they don't like it. I'm all for letting people believe whatever they want to believe, but when you're gonna be this big of an asshole about it and try to actively go against scientific evidence, then I take an issue with it. Not gonna play any more of the video because it's just him outside saying he got kicked out for trying to uncover the truth, NASA's a fraud, everyone's being lied to. Basically it's just the same shit over and over again. I don't think I'll ever truly understand why all of a sudden people in our society go against science, like the anti-vaccination crowd, or also police agencies who say their drug whisperers are more reliable than proven science. It just doesn't make any sense to me. These people really just aren't smart enough to realize that everything in their lives right now is the product of science. Half of those people probably wouldn't be alive today. If they were born 100 years ago, they would have already been killed off by something like measles or perhaps an infection that they couldn't cure because they didn't have antibiotics. No one can really understand that concept. I just don't get it. I'll never understand it. But yeah, anyway, condoms off for that NASA employee for putting up with this bullshit and not throwing hands with this dude. And yeah, that's it. See ya.